Holy guacamole! I can't wait to sit on top of this island and take a picture, which is happening, by the way. Hey everyone, we are so excited because we are finally getting to tackle a really special project for our friends who also happen to be our producers.
They just recently renovated this boring old 70s ranch style and turned into a glam farmhouse.
And that is where we come in. We are gonna go in this house and we are gonna build furniture for the entire thing.
And today we're starting with the biggest project of all. Their kitchen is big, open, and beautiful, but it's totally empty. So we're gonna build an 8.5-foot rustic farmhouse island.
You ready to get started?
Let's go.
Let's go.
We got a lot of work to do.
Stephen and Lauren! Here's all you need to build this beautiful 8.5-foot island.
One 4-foot by 8-foot half-inch sheet of hardwood plywood, 12 2x6 by 8s, one 2x10 by 8, and 3 2x4s.
And you're gonna need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 big chunky legs.
You can find the link to the legs that we purchased in the description box below. The first thing that we're gonna build is the top to the island, and it's a plank top with 2x5s that we've ripped down.
And we're actually gonna be building it in the kitchen for 2 different reasons. First, it's really stinking cold outside, and second, I don't think we could get it in the door if we did it outside first. So we thought best to go ahead and do it right here.
So we're planking these, and I said they're 2x5s, but they're actually 2x6s that we ripped down to 2x5 1/4.
And we have set these boards on these tough-built sawhorses. Guys, these are some of our favorite sawhorses. They fold up, get really small. So for those of you that don't have a workbench at home, this is a great option that you can get at the hardware store.
We've never shown you this on YouTube before. We usually are planking on the garage floor, but this is another way that you can do a plank, and it makes it really smooth on the top. So this is a face clamp. It's Craig Jig face clamp. We will link to it below. We're gonna clamp the boards together right where the pocket holes are. Getting started is the most tedious because you wanna make sure that the boards are flush on the end. Clamp it together. And this is gonna give us super smooth seam between the boards. Oh, it's so nice. So for those of you that say, how do you get your tabletop so smooth? That's how we do it.
Now we just have like 900 more.
That's all. It's gonna be so fast.
For this table, we're using 2.5-inch pocket hole screws, and we are putting those into 1.5-inch pocket holes.
So one thing that's really special about this build is that this build is for our producers, like we mentioned, and they have been filming us build stuff for everybody else for the last 2 years, and now
we get to build something for them.
Yeah.
Which is why we're trying extra hard to make it nice.
That's why we're using the face clamp. Okay, you can see a gap right there, but when I use the pocket hole with the screw, just like that. There, okay, watch it. It's in reverse, sorry. Sucked it right together.
Woo! That totally sucks. All right, so we've got our first board attached. Now we're gonna do the next 6. So here's a question for you, Stephen. Are you nervous about how this thing's gonna turn out while you're shooting this?
100% confident. Confidence is extremely high.
We have a no return policy.
What?
Ah. All right, so we've got our first 6 done. We're ready for our last one, and this board does not have pocket holes because we are attaching into it this way. So we will get it up here.
And we get to pick which side we want.
You. All right, planks are done. Now all we have to do is add the breadboards, and then we can start working on the base.
Look how smooth it is.
So smooth, super smooth.
Which side is better? I like the naughty side.
You would.
I like that. So this is what we really love about using this raw wood, these 2x. They have all these knots in them, and it looks so pretty. And we get to decide which side we like the best. And I think we like this side. It has more knots.
Ding, ding,
right?
ding. We have a winner.
Okay.
Winner, winner. So we've got it lined up here. We're gonna draw a line, and this will show us exactly where we need to make this cut.
And then we gotta do it to the other one.
Yes. All right, both sides are drawn. We are gonna take it outside, make those cuts, and then get them attached. We are ready to attach the breadboards. So Ash,
we're gonna use clamps because we don't have any support underneath them. So Whitney, hold that up, and then where's the
Whitney, hold it up.
Whitney's gonna hold it.
We are gonna do this.
The way that we're going to attach this, we've drilled pocket holes in the end of each one of these 2x boards so that they can go into the breadboard.
We have our first breadboard done. We're gonna attach the second one. All right, tabletop is built. We are gonna get this beast moved out of the way so that we can build the base.
All right, we've got the top planked, and now we are going to build the bottom shelf, and to do that, we're going to attach these giant legs with apron pieces first.
Yes, and these are 2x4 pieces that we have gone and ripped. I couldn't find the word. We've gone and ripped the sides. We've added 1.5 inch pocket holes, and we're gonna attach everything with wood glue and 2.5 inch pocket hole screws.
So I'm gonna lay this giant leg down, and we've already marked where we wanna put these apron pieces. We're going to attach the aprons with wood glue and 2.5 inch pocket hole screws.
I think this glue is frozen. I'm not kidding.
My glue's not working either. So we found these legs from Osborne Wood. We love their furniture legs. These are giant 6-inch furniture legs. You can do smaller ones if you want, if you don't have the room or the budget, but we will add a link in the description box below and on our website to find these legs.
Looks good to me. Now we're going to be adding support boards that will hold our shelf, and the shelf is going to be the 1/2 inch plywood. So we want to make sure to line those boards up 1/2 inch from the top of our apron pieces. We're attaching these boards with 2.5 inch pocket hole screws through the 1.5 inch pocket holes that we made on each one. Space them evenly, attach them with wood glue, and it's time for a shelf. Okay, so we put our end aprons on. We're attached now to where nothing's gonna fall over, and we are going and adding the pocket hole screws on the other side of those shelf support boards.
And we have not used them yet, but we have free plans for this island, so you need to make sure that you download them. You can get the link to the free plans in the description box below. So we've got all the bottom supports in for the shelf, and now it's time to actually cut the shelf. And at this point, we are going to need to measure the length from the inside of one apron to the other side, and then the width of that piece too, so we can rip it down. So a great tip if you do not have a table saw is to use a guide to rip a sheet of plywood. And we have a full how-to tutorial on our YouTube channel. We will link to that in the description box below. But basically what we do is we measure how far out we need to rip, and then we clamp a piece of wood to it and use that as our guide on our circ saw. Okay, so Whitney and I went and measured where the legs are gonna cut into the bottom of the shelf. And what we're doing is we're taking those marks, marking them on the plywood shelf. I've made my marks, and we're gonna use our jigsaw and cut those lines so that we have notches for the legs. All right, and that part is gonna fit square around that post.
Moment of truth. I need to be going dun 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 dun.
There you go.
It's in.
Tight fit, guys.
Shani approved.
Here's a Shani tip. If your bottom shelf cuts are not perfect, you can go get some trim from the hardware store and add trim to that. Our friend Steven got some 1/4 inch lattice, and he attached it all around the bottom shelf. Good job, Steven.
Way to go, Steve. Woo!
I learned from the best.
Now that we've got the shelves in, we're going to nail 2-inch finish nails all around the outsides from the aprons into the shelf. Okay, bottom shelf is done. Now it's time to put the top aprons on, and then we can put the top on.
There you go.
Almost done.
So the top aprons are 2x6 boards that we have ripped down, and we are going to be attaching them flush with the top of these massive legs, and also center of each one. We're attaching those with 2.5 inch pocket hole screws through 1.5 inch pocket holes.
All right, we've got all the aprons attached, and now it's time to add the supports for the top of our island.
Now these are 2x3 boards that we have ripped down, and we want to make sure your pocket holes are facing up because we're going to use those to attach the top of the island. And we're attaching these first to these side aprons using 2.5-inch pocket hole screws through those 1.5-inch pocket holes, and we're using wood glue.
And this is gonna be flush.
That's a booger shot, Steven. Don't like that shot. I'm coming. This is our last support board, and then we get to put the top on.
Oh.
I, for one, am quite excited about that because what y'all don't know is that we've taken 3 trips to Home Depot today because we made a few bad cuts. So you're welcome for that insider information. Can you face them to me?
Oh, yeah.
I'm kind of in an awkward position. Can you make it easier on me?
Top apron's done. Now it's time to muscle up. We're gonna bring that huge island top over and set it on top of the island base.
We're also gonna have Steven help us move it into his house since it's his island. Okay, now I want a new island.
I know.
So we are going to get this positioned. Ash and I are gonna get under this and use pocket hole screws going up through those aprons, through the supports, and into the top, and we are done. And then they get to stain it.
Do you have the screws?
Uh-huh. I sure do.
Is this a reverse booger shot?
This is a reverse booger shot.
We're just hanging out down here underneath the island, and we are attaching the island top to the base.
Island is built. We need a nap, so we're gonna go do that. And after, we're gonna stain it. And we're changing things up this time. We found a really awesome gel stain by Minwax. The color is chestnut.
And we're really excited about it because it's supposed to be good for staining vertically so it doesn't drip, and we've got a lot of vertical legs that are very expensive that we don't want to mess up.
And Lauren and Steven would appreciate us not getting stain all over their house. So that's how we're finishing this one off. We are finished. This is quite the beast. I think it's one of the biggest things we've built.
It's hands down the biggest table that we've built.
Yes, for sure. All we have to do now is sand it down really good, give it a good coat of stain.
A strong poly, and we're done.
It's ready for food.
I'm ready for food.
And a coffee.
That too.
And a nap.
And that.
Dang it, I need a nap.
We're going to build furniture for the whole darn house.
But what do I start with?
Right?
Now it's time to
Or sister. The next step is to go to Home Depot 3 times in a row and mess up every time.
Here's a shanty tip. If you have some gaps,
She's hitting me again. Sorry.
All right.
We're pulling stuff out of our butts now.